Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Great morning, everyone. What a beautiful moment to be alive and share it with you all. We have 87,000 subscribers here on Conquer Trading and Investing. Each and every one of you and your individual success is important to me. Someone commented that they genuinely believe that, and they should. It's the absolute truth. Thank you, each and every one of you, for this journey that we share together. It's absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. I was telling a priest about it last night. We were having dinner, and I was telling him about what we do over here, and he was astonished by it. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm grateful for it. Look, we got a lot to cover this session. It's going to be a good one, so we're going to get into it. Last week, by the way, if you have been out on the beach sipping cocktails or something like that, and you missed last week's sessions, each and every one of them absolutely critical. You have to catch up, maybe do it on 1.5 speed, but you have to get up to par of where we are because we cover a lot of information each and every day. A lot of information to share each and every day. And those that are able, to invest their time are able to stay on the right side with the clarity, understanding what's going on. Let me start off by focusing for a second on the technicals as we because I want to get into what's happening here on Ethereum, Bitcoin, where I was focused on last week throughout the week, and we're going to see where that's leading to us. I think the title of today's video is pretty appropriate. I'm not sure even what I titled it, so we'll take a look at what's going on in front of me. No, eraser. No, my friend. No, not invested at all. Just enjoying the work being done over here. I told them look, we have this community. And it's absolutely astonishing. It's full of like-minded people, growth-minded set people, always looking to support each other. You don't find that on the internet. He was in disbelief. You don't. It's beautiful. Why do we have a chart of Ethereum up here? I have no idea. Let's focus on the most important trade that matters. It's Bitcoin over here trading at 57,946. I mean, look, if you drop down to the 8-hour where we make our living, where I make my living, it's very clear what we're seeing. The last line over here, the last line of repair has been broken. We came in for a retest, and now we're trying to resume out. If you go back to where we were, by the way, as we made the first repair, it was down over here. Look, the technical entry was like 50,500, right? If you were watching the price action, if you read Reminiscences of a Stock Operator and understand how to read the tape, right? If you have years of experience in the markets, you were able to position in a little bit lower, 49,500 into 50,000, right? But look, the breakout over here, as we broke out on the repair, the first thing that I did was bring to your attention was this level right over here, almost exact, 59,000 and change, 59,000 and change. And I told you, look, price could come up to there and then find a little bit of resistance, maybe consolidate a little before continuing up, continuing that V-shaped recovery. It's not a V. I'm telling you, it looks like a V to me. We'll see what happens because we're right on time. We're right on time. How many days are we right now from the bottom? In 2017 bull market run, it took 20 days to reach that, to break that all-time high. All right, I think we're on day 15. Let's see where we are by the end of the week, whether or not we've taken out the 65,000 all-time high or not. And if we did, whether or not you're going to look back on it a week or two from now. Yep, that was a V. And it was quick. Time preference, everyone. Time preference. All right, let's take a look at what's going on over here. I want to focus on Ethereum, Bitcoin. The title of this video is something to the effect of watch out for the peak of the first alt season, right? Here we go, lining it up. We've in the last cycle over here, Ethereum, Bitcoin, once it broke outside this channel to the upside, you saw in about a week's time frame almost a 100% move. We're wondering if history repeats itself. I'm watching this channel break out to the upside. Or was it down here? I don't know. But we're watching what happens in the next, this week right now, whether or not we're about to see some crazy price appreciation. And if we do, that's going to be a very strong signal to me that Ethereum is peaking here for the near term, that it's going to enter a correction, and Bitcoin's going to take that baton because the smart traders know what's going on. A lot of people, you saw Brandon, Crypto Trades on Tech. Brandon's talking about over the last week or two, he's been taking profits and resistance on alts, and he's putting that back into Bitcoin. He's putting that back onto Bitcoin, and that's what you're going to see what happens over here if we do enter this blow off top, and that is a blow off top that in a week seeing price rise roughly 100%, right? My question is, do we take out the all-time high on Ethereum, Bitcoin, or do we put in a lower all-time high? I don't know. We're going to watch that, but everyone is watching this. Everyone is watching as you're seeing currently Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin by over a 4x, right? By the way, of note over here, it says that if Ethereum is able to trade above 5,000, that does set a new all-time high on Ethereum, Bitcoin. I don't know. I haven't run the numbers like that. I'm just watching what happens on the charts. It's what I do over here. But we're seeing, and this is quite interesting, we're seeing things play out as they did last cycle, but not lined up exactly as they were. We're going to get into that in a little bit. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. This is the Conquering the Markets community, group, crew, family, familia. And what we have here is extraordinary. I'm so glad you're here with us. And if you're not, welcome back. Let's get going over here. We're watching, that's beautiful. I love you so much. I love you so much. Thank you. You are loved. You are loved. Thank you so much for that. Listen, here we go over here. We're watching Ethereum really breaking out hard versus Bitcoin. Ethereum's in red over here. You're watching, by the way, in green. This is the last cycle on Ethereum, and in orange it is blue. We'll look at in orange it is blue. Jordan, what's going on, my brother? Bitcoin is in orange, Ethereum is in green. We're watching in this current cycle, Bitcoin in blue, Ethereum in red, and you're seeing this massive spike that's occurring on Ethereum right now, which occurred last cycle around this particular time. It's amazing how these things just repeat themselves over and over and over. It's the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. Another chart. These are Ian's charts, by the way. Team Randall. Big shout out to Michelle. Happy Mother's Day. I don't know if they were celebrating Mother's Day in the UK this weekend or not, but either way, happy Mother's Day. We are so grateful for each and every one of you because mothers are everything. Mothers are everything. We love you so much. Could you imagine someone out there, the free world's got them so shook, they sent a thumbs down for saying mothers are everything. You got to leave. This group is not for you. You just got to get out of here. You could hit the thumbs down 100 times, but get out of here. This information is not for you. Anyway, let's keep going over here. We're watching this play out as it did last cycle. Ethereum really starting to run over here. Now, something's not right. Something's a little bit off, and I'm going to help you see that. The timing is not precise. So we're just going to be aware of that. We're going to continue to make observations. Okay? You could go too. It's called good. All right, so as we're watching Ethereum, let's see what Ian's got over here. Let's see what Ian's got over here. By the way, if you can't see, looking at this chart over here, and we're going to look at a few more to help you see, that this is, again, you're looking at Bitcoin in green over here this time. This is the 4-year cycle. This is the bull market phase, then the bear market leading into the accumulation. Then we have the halving setting off the 4-year cycle again. This is Ethereum this time in orange, tracking the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin almost precisely. It's not about, I'm sorry if you don't want to hear it. It's not about Ethereum. It's all about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the rising tide that lifts all boats. All right, here we could see playing out like we did in last cycle, that big, massive gap up here on Ethereum. By the way, last cycle, what that set off was not only a massive correction, I think you could check my numbers. I think it's a 47% correction last cycle on Ethereum, right? And then it consolidated for about 4 months before Altseason 2 kicked off. This is Altseason 1. This is Altseason 2. Let's see if the past rhymes as we continue over here. But we have a lot more to look at. Let's continue. I want to focus on what's different. All right, so I'm going to zoom out 1 second over here. You can see this is Bitcoin, this is Ethereum. The top one is Bitcoin, bottom's Ethereum. And these yellow lines over here is when Altseason is happening. You can see here is when Ethereum is running, right? And you can see that's over here where those yellow lines are. This is Altseason 2 when Ethereum runs again against Bitcoin. You can see those yellow lines. What's different is right now, my calculations have us right here in the 2017 bull market run. And you could see that Altseason has already peaked. And it is not this time. It's a big glaring difference for myself that I need to point out because something is not right. Something is different. Now, Ian has gone ahead and remarked. Let me see if I could pull it up. We'll have to come back to it here he goes. Ian is pointing out, look, this cycle is different in the fact that Ethereum is more mature, so it's tracking Bitcoin, and we haven't seen that pre-mid-cycle pump. It looks like that pre-mid-cycle pump is occurring right now, and it could actually peak this week. This week we could see the peak. If we see massive price appreciation this week on Ethereum, Bitcoin, that's a pretty clear signal to me that we're seeing the peak. It's not at the same time, by the way, as it was last cycle, because last cycle this peaked a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. You know, something's a little bit off, and I'm just going to continue to make observations until it's clear. This is something that's not clear to me. It's a little bit different. So I'm focused in on that. But I could see, if I go back and I check the Bitcoin dominance, by the way, which is now at 44%, 40% and falling, we're getting closer and closer to that low of 37%. This could be alert this week, especially if you are heavily positioned into Ethereum. Watch what happens this week. If we continue to see this massive spike appreciation and the gap between Ethereum and Bitcoin spread out, in my opinion, not financial advice, and nothing I say here is, I'm just sharing my views, my experience. If we see that occur, I do believe it is a beautiful time to perhaps position out of Ethereum and position into Bitcoin. A lot of people this morning are wondering if now is the time. I do think it's too soon. I personally do think it's too soon, and we could see a massive move unfold this very week right here. We'll watch it. By the way, a little guide over here. You could just focus in. Let me come down to the 8-hour on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart over here, and we could see these lines that we have, resistance. Let me remove this. Let me clarify this a little bit. Let me even come to the daily just to make it a little bit easier over here. When we have the resistance finally breaking out, breakout, retest, resumption, into the next line of resistance. You can see that we've already came in for a retest, resuming off. I mean, there's no reason to take profit right now from Ethereum to Bitcoin. You got a hold of the horse. The horse is running. You want to push your winners, right? You need to see some type of reversal, whether or not, you know, if in the next day or two we traded below this trend line, that would be discerning. If on the daily you started putting in a lower low on the daily, that might be a signal for you. But right now, I personally, not financial advice, think it's way too soon. Okay, keep going, push this. This could be a beautiful. This trade could unfold beautifully this week. Look at that. You're seeing now Ethereum run up over almost 7% today, 6.7% against Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is right on time. Let me focus in on that for a second. Bitcoin is right on time. And when I say that, last cycle, July 2017, off of the shakeout, some people were saying they thought 2 weeks ago that perhaps we were entering in a bear market, or it wasn't very clear whether or not we were. That's not the perspective that we had at all. We were, why I myself personally, as price made a higher high over here, was fully positioned and more, seeing if we had a rip your face off melt to the upside. That after that was rejected, right? After we were able to position back onto the side, get out of fully positioned, waiting for the repair, we were very alert and waiting for this shakeout as it had occurred in the past 2 cycles, right? As it was occurring, we were looking for that bottom repair, looking for a V-shaped recovery, setting up the parabolic move. When I say parabolic move, I'm talking about, let me pull up Ted's chart, by the way. I'm talking about the parabolic move into the blow off top. Like, we're here calling the parabolic move way ahead of time. Now, I guess now as we recover, take out 65,000 and do enter that rip your face off move, or it's going to appear to be so, in my opinion. We could be looking, right? Ian has done the math for us. If we average the 2 cycles, we're looking, you know, at 125% return into that June 11th, you know, marker that we have. Is it going to unfold like that? I don't know. Eduardo, if you don't know what I mean by fully positioned and more, it was just discussed in Discord. You got to get onto the Bitcoin channel in Discord. You got to plug fully in. We're not getting into that now. I'm just going over the charts here, giving my analysis. And let me continue to do that. I caught that comment. It's probably important. Other people are probably wondering, the same if someone else is asking it. This rocket ship, by the way, is my marker setting up the vertical move into the blow off top, the cycle peak, right? How do we know when the model is broken? When are we going to say, all right, Jordan, this is not working out. We haven't made a new all-time, listen, we looked at this on Friday. If you missed Friday sessions, you got to watch it. Until we get to that rocket ship, by the way, in 2013, price didn't make a new all-time high until we hit that rocket ship area into the vertical blow off top. People are always looking for the model to break. I really think when it comes to, in equity markets, people are always trying to sell the top. People are always trying to sell the top instead of going with the trend, right? With Bitcoin and its 4-year cycle, yeah. So, some people think, oh, we've only had 3 data points. Let me pull up a 4-year cycle over here. We've only had 3 data points. How could you be following this? And they look at 3 data points by, each cycle that we've been in. Listen, I look at the 4-year cycle broken up into 3 phases. We have the bull market phase. We have the bear market phase. And then we have, after the capitulation low, the accumulation phase. That's 3 data points alone for each and every cycle, right? Now, on top of that, we have many markers within each cycle, including this shakeout that just occurred, the 1 wave, the 2 wave, into the vertical blow off top. We have another data point, another marker that within, by the way, 6 weeks, we see an almost 70% correction on Bitcoin, right? We have so many different markers and data points to help us keep our situational awareness to make sure that the model is not broken and continues to play out at this particular time where we are in the cycle, by the way, which happens to be a 3x off the last all-time high, approximately 19,500. We're 3x above. This happens to be what the current bear market low. Look at this. This is Plan B putting out his chart over here. He commented over here, the bear market low zone. We've been waiting to call it. It looks like this is it. It happens to be a 3x off the last all-time high. This happens to be a 3x, the bear market low off the last all-time high. It's playing out again. This right here, look at this dancing. This is beautiful. Look at this astronaut dancing as we're getting ready to go to the moon. Either way, I digress. Let's get into some charts over here together. I'm watching Bitcoin over here after breaking out of the last trend line over here, coming into that resistance. By the way, that resistance was pointed out 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago on this channel, we pointed out that area. I think I said 59,700. We almost hit it, right? And then we said, oh, we could consolidate for a little bit before making the run up over here. Let's see if that continues to play out. This is uber bullish looking to me. It is uber bullish. Did you notice that the dollar is being destroyed and Bitcoin just continues to consolidate? Let me go ahead and see if I could get a better chart, a better view over here. Just setting it up. I know everyone here knows what's going on. We're watching that massive down move. This is when the Fed, by the way, intervened over here. And then we saw that technical breakdown. Over here, we could see clearly now this bear flag that has developed, and we are breaking down out of it now. We have to watch what happens as we get close to that 80, what is that level? 89.43. If we break this yearly, this 12-month support over here, the market low, at that point, we're going to be testing 88.40. And if we break that, forget about it. It could be game over for the dollar in 2021. We could see a massive move against the dollar, right? What does that mean? Look, is Bitcoin trading off the dollar? Is Bitcoin tracking the dollar? How's that correlation look like? Well, I see the dollar selling off pretty hard. I see gold and silver reacting to that. We all know that we got on top of that signal as soon as it occurred back at $25. Some of you after me on the retest, $24.75, right? So we see gold and silver tracking the move of the dollar very well. Bitcoin not. Why? Well, Jordan, we're in the second quarter of 2021. All correlations are broken. Bitcoin's tracking its 4-year cycle. At this particular time, Jordan, after the shakeout, Bitcoin consolidating, right? It's getting ready to start the second half of the bull market. It's getting, by the way, retail, as they keep getting shooken out over here. Alan out of love, AU. Look, AU, the play on gold. Alan, definitely on Brandon's podcast, correcting the pronunciation of his name. Alan, lots of love to you. Thank you for all your work. Look, this is Bitcoin being Bitcoin over here, consolidating after it makes that 3x off the last all-time high, as it continues to put in an area of really strong support, which should be the coming bear market low. It's not tracking the dollar. It's doing its own thing, and we continue to see that play out. What else? Equity markets, kind of unchanged, not doing too much. Let's focus a little bit on Forex. The reason I say that, there's nothing else to add to what's going on. My greatest, most important thing that I'm watching right now is what's happening with Ethereum, Bitcoin. I'm noticing the little bit of difference that this is taking place a little bit later than last cycle, but I'm also noticing that we are seeing what could potentially be this week, a massive move on Ethereum, especially versus Bitcoin, putting in that first cycle top. Again, that's going to be a place where, and this is the difference. This is where we are last cycle here right now today, getting ready to fully recover. Did this look like a V to you, by the way? We're looking at over here where we are last cycle. I mean, that doesn't really look like a V. You came slowly into it, and at the end, peaking out over here. Either which way, I digress. Let's take a look at some charts over here and get going. Yep. 725 likes. That's a lot of love this early in the show. It's Monday. You guys are all excited to be back here working together. This is going to be a good week. The training session this week, we're going to be focusing, I believe, not on two things. We're going to be focusing in on that exit from cycle top, and we're also going to be focusing in a little bit more acutely on which strategy number 3, Bitcoin versus altcoins versus the US dollar, which exactly what that's going to look like and how that transpires. Looking forward to that this week. Thank you, Flo with Chilo. Excuse my pronunciation, but yeah, I do too. I really look forward to it. Spending a good time yesterday preparing for today's show. Just looking forward to that morning when we see Honeymoon instrumental playing, getting us back, remembering everything we've been through. Where we're going. And then all of a sudden you guys start popping in and setting the mood over here. Yeah, I missed you all this weekend too. Yeah, this is a great lead in over here. I don't like to trade Forex on Mondays. This is something to really focus in on. It's really important. By the way, look, the work that I've done here on this channel on Forex over a year and a half of videos, the markets are the same today as they were yesterday, as they were 100 years ago. We follow price. We follow price off of the market structure of support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns, right? If you want an education on how to trade price, if you want an education how to trade the markets, follow the work that we've done on Forex. You have all these past videos online over here. You have the CTM training sessions, the course. It's absolutely essential. The thing is, a lot of people, they're really in a rush. Right now, people are like, Bitcoin's $57,680. What's going on? What's taking so long? And I'm like, are you kidding? Do you not remember Bitcoin at a year ago, Bitcoin's at $7,000, $8,000, and we're talking about positioning in. Giving a price target of $160,000, $140,000 mission accomplished, and people are like, that's absolutely ridiculous. That's not going to happen, And now we're looking at Bitcoin, in less than a year, coming from $8,000 to $57,000, and people are like, well, it's not happening fast enough. Bitcoin is right on time. Let me jump in over here for 1 second. I'm going to drop some HeadSnack, get me fired up to continue over here. We're going to talk about trading Forex on Mondays. We're going to take a look at the markets and see what's going on. I know that Heath has been all over it. I saw Heath, by the way, over the last week or two, positioning it into the pound. This morning, as I saw the pound really flying up, I was a proud papa. Heath all over it. The work that Heath's doing on Trade Talk, you have to be following. Brandon Crypto Trades on Tech. Alan, I'm sorry, out of love, AU. You got Alan, by the way, we just gave him a subscription to Glassnodes. He's going to be looking, seeing what he sees going on chain. No pressure, Alan. Anything you could add to the community is an absolute asset. We're going to see the work that he's able to add to us. I'm going to be actually later today talking with Brad. We're going to do a Zoom session talking about something that is absolute fire that he's setting up over here. A great tool and an asset leading into the cycle peak over here. We're going to be presenting that. I'm going to be presenting that with you or with him tomorrow. We got a lot to cover, but it's time for a little bit of head snack. Get ready here as I drop the beat.
Analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Hit the like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room. Grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Flow from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day.
You know what's amazing? You know, Alan said it was actually the HeadSnack song that made him dig a little deeper into the community. Big shout out to HeadSnack, by the way, for all the love that he put together doing this for us. Really grateful for him and the work that he's done for us. There was some things I wanted to talk about. Someone, by the way, wanted to look at Cardano. I'm not really focused in on alts like that. You know, I'm kind of, I cannot do what I do on Bitcoin, by the way, if I were not so focused in on it. It's what I need to do. And when I say so focused in on it, I saw it earlier today. By the way, someone said we're seeing a red candle right now. Do you see this little channel that we have going on? You could actually see it on a smaller time frame a little bit better. You can see that clear channel that we're in. Coming in right now again for a test of that support over there. Anyway, I'm not worried about it at all at this moment. Bitcoin looking very cherry good to me. This is the time you want to position it. Of course, this is when we got back in at the bottom on the first repair. Second repair over here, fully positioned, you know, and enjoying it. Enjoying it with, look, a lot of people were very frightened and scared over here, right? Some people even talking about perhaps a bear market was beginning for whatever, I don't understand that view or anything like that. But the way that we were able to have that calmness coming into that event as that event was unfolding was because of all of the focus that I place on Bitcoin, right? I personally, I need to get it right, you know? Again, back you know, $8,000-9,000, you know, half of my net worth, including own real estate, positioned into that trade, you know, making sure I get the most important trade that matters over here. I love the work that you guys all do on alts. I've been very supportive, you know, even very early, well before it played out. I know last week, right? As I know last week, let me pull up a chart of Ethereum, Bitcoin really quick. I know as Ethereum came into this area over here that some people were like, okay, I'm flipping over to Ethereum. And maybe rightfully so, by the way. It's an enormous tradable event. If you're, let me try to pull up a chart. If this is an enormous good positioning tradable event, if you want to, it's beautiful. I really like it, you know? Anyway, I just lost my flow. The flow is gone. I don't know what I wanted to talk about or present, so I'm just going to bring it back and just start looking at charts until I figure it out. Oh. No. Not even close. Just let me set it straight over here as I figured out what I wanted, what I was talking about, want to get into. In a nutshell, by the way, you cannot take my work and bring it down to a nutshell. You cannot take the work we do here, which is absolutely invaluable, and then be like, in a nutshell, this is this. No, that's not how it works. You have to invest your time. There's no question about it. I'm learning each and every day. All of you who have been watching for 3 months, for a year and a half, are learning each and every day. right? And it's this accumulation of knowledge. You can, if you're looking for like to join into a YouTube session and be like, oh, tell me what's happening tomorrow so I could get that, you're doing it wrong. Your time preference is all out of whack. You're never going to make money in the markets. And I'm not singling you out, Mr. Bio Skunk, at all. I'm talking about, you know, just taking something and trying to like break it down to a soundbite so you could get on a signal like that, right? So look, if you think the dollar is going down in value, probably prefer Bitcoin USD. No. Anyway, sorry about that. That was a distraction. I don't mean it like that, but that's what it was. Let me get back on that. Rob, love you, brother. You know, love you. Rob, love you, brother. There we go. All right. Did you see this morning, by the way, Alan AU was setting up over the weekend, the Debit options expiring at $60,000, I believe it was, or if correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, $60,000. How price didn't make it above 60,000. They were able to hold it down. Those options, he pointed out, have now expired. Let's see what happens over here. If Bitcoin is able to go ahead to hold this little bit of channel it's trading within and then break out above. Let's see what happens. My fifth grade music teacher called me obnoxious. She did. You're not alone. I don't know. If I am, I do apologize for myself. I'm as broken as the next guy for sure. But I just try to radiate light and spread love, you know? I do my best, that's for sure. Listen, let's keep going over here. I'm getting distracted by reading these comments over there. That's right, Alan AU. All right, here we go. Let's focus in Monday and Forex. I'm going to start there. I'm going to go through some Forex pairs. I'm going to see if I could find a flow. I'm going to see if I could take anything out of this session over here that is going to help me. I know people are interested in Cardano. I'm going to defer. I'm not focused on alts like that. Oh, Ethereum. Listen, it was so long ago here that we talked about during the bull market phase. I expect Ethereum to outperform. I expect Ethereum to lead at certain points of the cycle. Now we're coming up to a point of cycle where I expect Bitcoin to lead. I no longer expect Ethereum to lead. I'm looking this week for Ethereum to put in actually a vertical blow off top. And if that does occur, it's time to take profits on Ethereum. We're going to see a pretty big correction on Ethereum, some consolidation as Bitcoin starts to run. So up until this, for a while now, we've been looking for Ethereum to lead. You all remember that tweet I put out, right? Ethereum leads, right? Now at this point, that could change. We're at a very particular week. We have to watch very closely what transpires, what unfolds this week, because we could be now moving to the place where Bitcoin leads. And Bitcoin should be leading right now, I would say, through August. That's a long time. Let's see if that plays out or not. That right there is the nugget of this session that we're in today. And that's what it's about. It's kind of like you're digging, you're searching, you're going through and putting in the time until those nuggets come out. When you come across a nugget, you have to acknowledge that nugget. All right. Yeah, that's good. Listen, this is important, by the way, right? One cannot be the confidence. That's what I'm focused in on over there is confidence. First of all, confidence comes from what? It comes from a couple of things. It comes from winning. It comes from being correct, right? We have all those macro guys out there catching up to us now. We all know what we've done here together as we have, what is it, 87,000 subscribers here in about a year and a half. It's, people, we watch all these other different macro guys talk about like these dollar milkshake theories and blah, blah, blah. And as things are unfolding in real time, calling them out on it, right? Saying what's up, not afterwards, as it's happening. Inflation, deflation, people putting on these paper hats and they're like, I'm the king. And they're talking about how we're about to enter a deflationary period. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? The Fed just expanded their balance sheet by $4.1 trillion. It's uber asset inflationary. And now we're seeing people can't even afford food as prices continue to rise. Anyway, confidence comes from winning. And you cannot conquer the markets, by the way, if you don't have confidence. Again, just 2 weeks ago, as price was coming down over here, people talking about the bear market beginning. Listen, if you don't have the clarity, if you don't have the confidence to understand what's going on, you'll get shaken out of your position. A lot of people very, very clearly realize and know there's no way they would, first of all, there's no way they would have positioned into Bitcoin, and there's no way they would have held if they didn't invest their time each and every day, keeping with the clarity that we present here together, working out together each and every day. By the way, it's not about me. It's about this wonderful team we put together. I work with the best of the best. And if you want to know where their education is or where they learned about the markets, it's all organic, right? It's all organic. No MBAs here. That's for sure. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's look at Cardano really quick, just because to share a little bit of love. Look, there's not much I could say about Cardano at this particular point, except that you want to be preemptive of momentum, not chasing it. And if you're positioning into Cardano right now, you're definitely chasing momentum. There's no question about that, right? So, look, I mean, this is what we do. This is what we set up, right? By the way, one big difference, the only difference we have between crypto and traditional markets, when I say traditional markets, I'm talking about everything from the indexes to individual stocks, to commodities, to futures, especially Forex, currency markets, everything but crypto. Everything but crypto. In crypto, during the bull market phase, we take breakouts. In every other market, we do not take a breakout, which is a very low probability trade. Roughly 5% of them take off without ever looking back. We always look for the breakout, the retest, and the resumption. Okay? Listen, if you're in Cardano, right? First of all, follow Brandon, who's been laser focused on Cardano ever since whenever, whether it was 10 or 20 cents or whatever the case may be, and continue to follow his work. That's why we have the team we have together. Let me take a look at Forex this morning, see what's going on. Listen, 1,000 likes this early in the session. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for helping support the channel. Thank you so much. Yep, Brandon was not only on top of Cardano, Brandon helped everyone in that trade focus in on it with clarity and continue to ride it out. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. All right, let's keep going over here. Trade Talk is absolute fire. There's no question about that. Big shout out to Heath and all the work that he continues to do over there. I absolutely love it, and I'm grateful for everyone that contributes. Everyone that contributes, and that means everyone, right? Each and every one of you. Greg, Gene. I can't name names, but I have to pause for a second as we continue here. And the biggest thank you to Stefano, to Pure Vita, to Lemmy, to each and every one of the moderators, each and every one of them, and everyone I've left out. And also I can't stop there. Alan P, my brother, Alan's the comments that Alan has presented, the information that he's presented in Discord alone. I think that I could go back and write a book on trading on that alone. Alan, absolute fire. Alan is the most underrated voice in conquering the markets. How about that? And he's not underrated. Everyone knows Signal. Everyone knows Signal. All right, let's keep going. I needed a pause over there. I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna take a look at what's going on in FX just so I get my bearings. Before I do that, let's start what I always do. Let me take a look at the dollar. Oh, that's beautiful, Jordan. Yeah, that's beautiful. This is my TA right there. Either you see it or you don't. Okay, we're looking at the bear flag breakdown over here, right? We looked at that earlier in the session. Dropping over to the equity markets. Surprise, surprise. New all-time highs. Nasdaq down 1%. Look at the structure of the Nasdaq, by the way. You can see that once we broke this trend line, since then we came into the support, retesting that broken trend line. It's acting as resistance, and we're being rejected off of it. This is not looking, let's say, structurally uber bullish, but zoom out, and you're just consolidating above the last support over here, right underneath all-time highs. If something's going to break down first out of the indexes, keep an eye on the Nasdaq over here. Let's see what the Dow's doing. I'm just trying to get a feel because it's been a while since. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty, by the way. Look at that consolidation, the breakout, the retest, resumption off. It's been a while since I've been focused on the equity markets because they're not that interesting to me, obviously, at this particular time. Do I expect any type of correction? The only thing that could set up a correction in my view of the equity markets would be the June meeting, next month's meeting, the Federal Reserve. If there's if it's any type of trigger for the markets to be looking at any type of tapering, whether it's coming from QE tapering or they're talking about possibly raising rates, something that could set the market off into a taper tantrum. Or it's the August Jackson Hole meeting in Wyoming. It happens to be a meeting where in the past, central banksters have used it for a policy change to kind of telegraph what they're going to do next. Those are really the two the events that I'm looking at for equity markets, possibly to put them into a correction. We're into sell in May, by the way, right? We're not only with the sell in May, we're seeing the Treasury pulling away. We're not pulling away liquidity, but coming to the end of their $1 trillion dump. They have about $100 billion left, or 10% of that. The market's going to see a little bit less liquidity. That could possibly put a little pressure on equity markets. But really, they're not interesting. The only time they were interesting was during the correction. By the way, the correction we were looking for. S&P was only about 5-6%. Nasdaq was a big one, a little bit longer. This was about a 12% correction, and that's when we're really focused in on it. If we see a breakdown, right? What would a breakdown look like, by the way? Just kind of talking this out. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, my brother. Thank you for sharing that with us. What would a breakdown look like? Is it, I don't know right now. It looks very healthy over here. Again, just consolidating right around all-time high above the most recent support. The only thing I see is this break in the structure. You see that trend line break down into the support, bounce into now that broken trend line is being resistance, resuming off of there. So I could see the Nasdaq a little bit of a weak link right now, right? Gold looking good over here, right? No question about it. I like Gene's line that he shared, that trend line over there. I pointed out when normally I'm always looking at clone trend lines and the symmetry. By the way, I love all of your work. I love all of your work that you continually share on Twitter. You could tell when someone is conquering the markets trained. You could tell when someone's in the CTN community, undeniably from the way they do their TA. And it's the best in the game. It's the best in the game. This is one of the few times that I did not have symmetry in my trend lines. I don't know why. I don't really care why, but it's very clear to me, and I do like it. And you could see in retrospect, right? Because I had this line up here for months before the breakout, the most recent breakout. But you could see that breakout, retest, that line held this time as support. Listen, it's gold. It's going to come into play into my particular, let's say, investment thesis and execution later in the year. There's no question about that. I'm watching what's going on the Grado macro, and I could very well see the possibility of gold sometime soon. You can't put a timing on that, but being repriced and being repriced drastically. If it happened to be during the bear market of Bitcoin's bear market, that would just be getting lucky. I say that with quotes, getting lucky, but that would be fantastic. Not much to say right now. 2021 is something we were looking for. We were obviously focused in on Bitcoin, right? But also looking for silver possibly to break out above this $30 area, testing the all-time highs at 50. Could this be the possible catalyst, this breakout over here and run? I don't know. There was over the last, since July, since August, which is now a while. I'll just there's been 2 instances where we broke out of our consolidation and trend line. This was the first. This was the second. Neither one of them went anywhere. Let's see if third time's the charm or not. All I'm telling you and letting you know, stop loss at break even, not looking to take profit at all. If this gets stopped out at break even, so be it. I'm looking to push this trade to see if we break out above 30 and then test the all-time high at 50. We'll see what happens. All right. Now let's check out what's going in on FX over here. We're going to start here. I'm first going to, since I'm coming in, let's say cold, what I'm going to do over here is first talk about that beautiful comment that we often have so often talked about over here, is that I personally do not like to trade on Mondays. You know, early on in my career, it was like the market opens Monday morning in Asia, which is Sunday evening for myself, and I'm like, boom, 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 blasting off trades, because I feel like, you know, I'm a trader. I need to trade, and the more trades I take, the more opportunity I have to make money. Actually, forget that. I'm going to trade off of a small time frame. Forget it. The more trades I take, and on a smaller time frame, the more money I'm going to make. It took me a while to learn that the easiest way to make money was by lowering my time preference, which means trading off a higher time frame. That has turned out to be the 8-hour time frame. By the way, there's only one period where the 4-hour time frame outperformed the 8-hour, and that was back during the 2008 crisis. There was a window over there where the 4-hour time frame was more profitable than the 8-hour. The 8-hour was enormously profitable, but then, you know, for a decade after, it was very clear to me from keeping track of all my data that the 8-hour was just a beautiful filter that took out all of that market chop, that price fluctuations that was occurring on the 4-hour and or lower time frames. The beauty about the 8-hour time frame, by the way, is that, look, there happens to be 24 hours in a day. There happens to be 3 main sessions: the Asian session, the London session, and the New York session. And the 8-hour happens to cover each of those sessions. It took me many, 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 many years to learn, because I had this erroneous attitude that you need to be in the market more often than not to make money, that you need to trade more to make money, that I realized by avoiding all of Asia, by the way, lowest volume session of the day, that a lot of false signals, that I was way more profitable by just pushing that all aside, right? Focusing in on the London session and the New York and London overlap, from London open to close, the highest volume of the day, by the way, giving the purest and best high probability signals. Anyway, it's been a while since we looked at FX, so I wanted to give a bit of an overview. The first thing coming in cold that I'm going to do, it took me a long time to learn, by the way, that if I do not trade on Sunday night, right, until I learned that, you know what, you're not trading Asia anyway, Jordan, right? But I learned that there's a lot of repricing going on in those first 24 hours since the FX markets were closed over the weekend. You know, sometimes we have gaps. It gets a little dicey. You know, after the first 24 hours, if I waited to Monday morning to look at FX, to look at the markets, to start going over the charts and seeing what waves I see coming in, right? What do I mean by what waves I see coming in? And you could do this, by the way. I'm talking about FX right now as I look at a chart of silver. I'm talking about FX. If you're interested in the crypto markets, as I think you should be during the bull market phase, if you're trading to the long side. Do you remember before the bull market started, I was like, you don't short any crypto in the bull market. It's long side only, right? What I'm talking about here in FX, you could translate completely into crypto. You have to have that capacity. So if I'm talking about looking for waves by going over all the pairs and looking for what setups are coming in, I give the analogy of a surfer looking out at the horizon. What are they doing? They're looking, first of all, for 2 things. They're looking for a set of waves to come in. And then out of that set of waves, they're looking for the best wave to ride. What they perceive to be the best wave to ride. That's how we do it. You could do this we do it in FX, right? And then you could go ahead and you could tag any wave that looks like it's a good wave, setting up. And then out of all those waves, you look at which one you believe is the best that you want to go for if you get the entry to enter. You could do that in crypto too. You could have a long list of all different altcoins, and you could be going over them, looking for what setups you're looking for, right? Looking for that trend line correction, waiting for that breakout, and you could go ahead and start tagging each. Anyway, take what I'm talking about right now in FX if you're interested in crypto and translate it over into crypto. If you just joined the session and haven't yet smashed the like button, go ahead and get me going over here as I'm ready now to begin looking at the FX markets on this Monday morning. And the first thing I see coming in cold, I'm looking at the pound Japanese yen. It's up over 1%. That's a big move on FX, okay? And then I see the pound US dollar. It's up almost 1%. Again, Heath, I don't know if it was last week. I caught him doing it last week. He might have been on it even a little bit earlier than that. Never gave up on the pound, continuing to watch what was going on over there. Preemptive of momentum. Heath on Trade Talk. You can find his channel, by the way, on the main page of my YouTube channel. Go down to featured channels. And Heath, by the way, has been here since day one when we first started streaming. It was me, Heath, and about 30 other people each and every day for months. I don't care how many people are here. I sincerely don't. I'm doing my work and I'm sharing with those that are called, those that have an open here, those that belong here. All right. What else am I seeing? Observations, starting with observations. I'm seeing the Australian dollar, up 0.5% versus the Japanese yen. So I'm seeing Japanese yen weakness, right? Let's take a look. Let's focus in on some charts over there. Let me start with the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, and see what's going on. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. See, David, that's awesome because you've been here. You've put in the work. You've heard the things and so now when I'm talking about it, giving that perspective, that overview, you're like, oh yeah, that all makes sense. We got lots of dots over here. Let me start off by just getting rid of that and then coming in right now. All right. So I was, by the way, this is just all learning experience, right? Let's take a look at last thing that I had going on over here. And I was just pointed out this ascending triangle, right? You can see over here that price is making low, it's making higher lows over here. And then, the resistance, that line over there, I pointed out that since then, what we saw a breakout, a retest, now resuming off. Listen, I was obviously not tracking it, not aware what's going on. What happens next? All right, listen, very plain and simple. It's Monday morning. You have patience on your side. You're looking to see what setups are developing. You're not in a rush. Actually, you're not looking to take any more than 3 trades in a week on FX. You are limiting yourself from chasing after setups that don't belong. Right here, though, I'm not being preemptive of momentum if I start tracking the Australian dollar, Japanese yen this morning. It's already playing out over here, right? Price now is overbought in an uptrend. I'm not looking to, do you ever notice you take a trade and then price goes against you? You're chasing momentum. And by the way, we have some things that could help you. You could pull up the true trend, right? You could pull up the true trend, and then you could see over here right now that, look at this, the entry CCI has been overbought for so long here on that resumption off, right? This is the worst possible time ever to enter a trade. You want to wait here for at least the entry CCI to be pulled back in that uptrend, setting up an entry. The last time it occurred over here, you could see that. All right. So look, lesson, do not chase momentum. Yes, maybe you're like, oh, well, now I see it and now I want to get involved. Well, now you have to wait. You have to wait for the next bit of consolidation over here, the next bit of pullback, at least in the entry CCI to be pulled back versus that uptrend, waiting for that snap back up. Nothing going on there at all. Let's take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar. What's going on over here? So Australian dollar, US dollar. I see the US dollar, by the way, breaking down of that bear flag. Weak US dollar. Australian dollar is not really doing anything. As you know, it's still consolidating over here. It's still consolidating. The last thing I ever want to do is get caught up in consolidation. I'm looking for trades that are trending, that have the possibility of breaking multiple support or resistance levels, right? So again, we've been more focused, obviously, on Bitcoin. And when I say Bitcoin, that encompasses the whole crypto market, because right now we're in a bull market and price is volatile, and it's volatile to the upside. And FX, by the way, as you see me over these past couple of months, not really that dialed in and focused in. It's not really doing anything. It continues to consolidate. I am interested knowing that consolidation leads to expansion. Markets go from expansion to consolidation. back to expansion, back to consolidation. They tend to consolidate more than they expand. But after this long bit of consolidation, are we getting ready for a move? We're seeing the dollar starting to break down. Are we going to see a more pronounced move? And if we are, where are we looking to attack that dollar? Is it with the Australian dollar? You know, and we're going to look at that versus other pairs right now to see what other pairs are doing. I'm going to go to the leader right now. This is the pound US dollar, right? And, you know, look, there's not much I could add to it right now today. I remember at the beginning of the year, right? We started tracking the pound US dollar right here in January, right after we saw the Brexit deal put in place over there. I guess it's on the pound Japanese yen. Excuse me for 1 second. There we go. There we go. This was the target I put in, right? As we broke out over here, or actually preemptive before we even hit that first breakout over there. We're getting close. We are getting close. It takes a little bit of patience. I'm just looking at it, making observations. There's nothing for me to see or do over there. Pound US dollar. Let me come back to the 8 hour. I'm trying to see which pair seems to be the strongest versus the dollar right now. But what I'm noticing here, right, is that the Australian dollar also had recently put in a higher high than it is right now today. So there's not much, there it is right there. There's not much of a difference, you know, both consolidating, both making a run up, right? I don't see it. If it's not clear to me, I just keep moving. I'm looking for when setups are so clear to me that it's just like, it's obvious. And that's what I'm looking to focus in on. If you find yourself looking at a chart, trying to make it line up and work, that's an absolute excellent signal that it's not working out. Keep moving along. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to move over to the euro US dollar, find out what I see. Look at all these nonsense. Look at all these. Maybe it's time I just like remove all annotations from all charts and start over again. I don't know. Euro, Australian dollar, what do I see going on? I see price sideways. You know, that's really what I see right now. There's nothing here for me to see or do right now. I'm just going to keep moving, you know. Let me take a look at the euro Japanese yen, right? So I see that continued Japanese yen weakness, but look, this is a bull flag, mind you. Breakout, retest, resumption. That was the entry. Over here, I can't chase price. There's simply nothing for me to do, you know? I think I need to jump into the Discord Forex section and see what you guys are all watching and then find out where the flow is and get up to speed that way. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, you can see us making right now at least a 12-month high over here. You know, is this setting up something you could watch right now, right? If you have the resistance, getting above it, waiting for the next pullback and maybe. I feel like I'm forcing it. I don't see it. Let me look at the US dollar, Japanese yen. Okay. Well, this is interesting. This is actually interesting, right? By the way, so when I say that, what am I looking at? Well, I'm looking at the US dollar breaking down out of that bear flag, that dollar weakness. What are yields doing? By the way, look at that. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me. All right. Yields, by the way, need to break below. If yields break below this 1.44%, at that point, we could really see this start to accelerate, right? That would probably be, and also coincide with the DXY breaking below that 88. I need to clean up my charts. Let me spend some time today cleaning up all my charts. The 88.40 level. If we're breaking down below the DXY, that 88.40 that we've talked about, that's yields breaking below, I bet you at the same time, 1.44%. If that happens, we could see a sharp acceleration to the downside, right? The reason I'm talking about that, I'm seeing the US dollar, Japanese yen right now. I'm seeing this peak. But do you all remember that often when we see price break out of a channel, right, and breaks out to the upside, that's often the like a place to take profits, and then you're going to see a correction. By the way, that's exactly what is taking place right now on Ethereum, Bitcoin, as we break above these channels. Only we know that it's different, and then we might see this peak might be a lot higher than in traditional markets, which is why we're looking for perhaps even 100% move unfolding within a week over here on Ethereum, Bitcoin. But it's that similar play I'm talking about. It's the breakout of the channel to the upside. We see it happen on the equity markets often. I saw, what is that channel? It's called The Game of Trades. I saw them take it, which they normally do. I love that people appreciate our work and then take it and, well, you could say, I guess, steal it. That's plagiarism. But we often talk about these channel breakouts, right? And then leading to that correction. And we see that playing out over and over again. You know, is that what's taking place or just took place on the US dollar, Japanese yen? It looks like it to me, you know, it looks like it to me. But then we saw the breakdown. Look, at price got held up again now at that resistance, that trend line, and is now coming off. Are we coming in right now into that lower resistance? You know, it looks to me a resumption off here could be a good entry. It looks like to me a resumption off here could be a good entry. Not a good entry. It's the only thing that I've seen today that is mildly interesting to me. It's the only thing that I've seen, but that's okay. I feel like in seeing these FX markets going through such a long period of consolidation, it might be the time for us to spend more time focusing in on it, you know, especially as I'm getting ready over here for Bitcoin to be making its move over here. When I say its moving to January the 24th. As Bitcoin makes its all-time high above 65,000, I just want to let it run. I want to raise my time preference. You'll see me looking at the 3-day often. I'm not really looking until we get to that first week of June to be watching price so intently, waiting for that pullback. Maybe it'll be a good distraction for us to focus more of our time in FX as price makes that new all-time high on Bitcoin, as that parabolic move. This is the low. We called it out on the channel over here. The low of the parabolic move. Go back to the channel right around, you know, April the 25th is when we're talking about that parabolic. Everyone else is like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, you know, or we're about to enter a bear market. Oh, now it doesn't look like we're going to enter a bear market. You guys are flip-flopping all over the place. We're calling the bottom here, the beginning of the parabolic move. Jordan, what are you talking about? You'll see soon, right? But maybe it'll be a good distraction as I don't want to be following the price of Bitcoin so intently as it's making those new all-time highs. I want to be like pushing those trades, holding to spend some more time on FX. Anyway. I'm trying to catch it. You want to drink some water, right? What has it been, an hour without even a sip? Just keep going over here is who we are and what we do. I want to see what else is going on over here, following in some comments. Kips, guitar, I miss autumn, and I miss you, Kips. I just want you on signal and on focus. I saw Kips last week pointing out you guys got to watch silver. Kips, if you have been watching what's going on over here, we entered into silver over here at $25. You know, not over here at 26, at 20. We're always on point. We're always on signal. Good to see you. I was thinking you this weekend, my brother. Good to see you over here. All right. So we're very close, by the way, Gino. Gino, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the prayers, especially from mom and child. It could be this week. It could be this week. It could be within the next few weeks. We'll see. Look, I'm going to go ahead and we're into summers now. I haven't seen that one. We're going to go ahead and just play a little bit of honeymoon over here. So I could take a sip of water and then we'll see what's next over here as we continue finding the flow. There is something else that I really want to share. There's something else that I really want to talk about and share with you over here, and that's really in line with what's taking place as I'm watching, understanding that where we are right now is right over here, July 2017 is where we are lined up with the cycle, coming out of the shakeout, haven't yet made that all-time high. This is price breaking above 65,000, 20 days after the shakeout low. We're currently 15 days from the shakeout low. We're still right on time, but we're seeing the difference is that Ethereum had already peaked versus Bitcoin back in the last cycle. That's something that's different. Now, when I look at the coin market cap and I look at the Bitcoin dominance and I see that actually, okay, well, now we're coming in a lot closer. We could be putting in somewhere around that first alt season peak, within this week. It could be this very week over here. We peaked out last time at 37, 38%, So it's a little bit different. Listen, why I'm pretty focused, on our points, our reference points. I'm trying to find out Ted's chart over here. Ted, where are you, my brother? Ted, by the way, continues to put out. Where is it? Oh, no. All right, listen, I got to pull it up this way over here because we got to see it. This is Ted's indicator over here. He's done some absolutely amazing work, and not only continues to put together some phenomenal work over here. I saw this morning as I was adding it to the chart, and I went into the settings over here, that look, he's now done comparing Ethereum scaling, the 2016, 2020. We already have the halving alignment. Thank you, Ted, so much for what you've done, what you're adding over here, continuing to put out absolutely astonishing work over here. We have the best team. It's absolutely amazing. Look, I have my reference points that I'm following that I continue to track over here. It was very early that we started looking at the end of September for the cycle peak, right? We were using different, let's call it different reference points to get there, until we started lining up these past cycles off the all-time high. Charts BTC, Ian, big shout out for helping us get there, right? And, but at the same time, this is not set in stone. I am very open if anything does occur that causes us to see a break of the 4-year cycle, to see something differently develop, and whether that means that we have an extended cycle, a shorter cycle. I'll take a look at with you later. Brad showing us what it could look like, Bitcoin peaking early August, right? Or is it going to be peaking, hold on one second, right where we have it, the end of September. Look, whether or not we have something of a super cycle, because we're seeing massive difference, of all this Bitcoin coming off exchanges, not yet being put back on exchange. Obviously, we have a different type of buyer in the market. Whether it's public companies, institutions, funds, whatever. If anything is different, I have no problem in a heartbeat changing my mind. I just want to be on the right side. I just want you all to know, as I'm watching the difference take place over here, it's the first major difference I've seen. So I'm aware of it. Is it possible Ethereum does peak versus Bitcoin this week? And if it peaks this week and we're only just a few weeks behind, what does that mean? And how? I don't know, but I'm always watching to put it all together to make sure that I stay on the right side of the market. Someone's asking, could you give me the cheat sheet? Could you give me the 1 cent? I don't know. I'm figuring it out each and every day, and I'm making sure that I stay on the right side of the most important trade that matters. And why we do that on all markets, making sure, as it was, again, time to take a poke at silver, see if this one is the one that breaks out to the new yearly high and taking us into the all-time high. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as it unfolds. How about them apples? Everyone, thanks for the session. Thanks for the time. I really, you all mean so much to me. I'll see you all tomorrow. We're going to do it again. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Focus on the nutshell. I love it. You guys are great. You guys are great. People are asking, about, those involved in CTM, when we're going to have a meetup and things like this. Listen, I'm focused on what we need to achieve right now. That's my focus. And by the way, as we exit, or as I exit Bitcoin, whenever I determine that is the cycle top, confident I'm going to get it and on the way up, like the work is not done, That's when we're positioning for the bear market, So, anyway, everything in its own time. You guys are all great. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Big thank you. Thank you, Bruno. Thank you to the moderators. You guys are absolutely foundational. So grateful for the work and the love that you share each and every day. Stefano, I was watching yesterday those posts you put out on Discord. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Thank you, everyone.